Yeah, definitely the right choice with Starbuck here. I think also we've seen his moments of brilliance against Elf in particular with Human, though that last series against EleGaNt played earlier today was very topsy-turvy. It was a bit of a roller coaster ride to say the least. There were some moments that were going really well, and then there was, you know, that last game in particular in Twisted Meadows was just a total wipeout by EleGaNt. So this time, hopefully both players can play a little bit more of a solid match between the two. But I'm definitely excited. I think Human Elf is one of the best matchups to observe currently. It's just great.
Yeah, I'm a big fan as well. Seems like EleGaNt is again going for a special creep route. Shop creep first. He learned earlier against Undead that is no bueno, but against Human it could be good. The downside of this is if the Human gambles and goes for a corner expo right away, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
But it seems like that's not a very popular build right now.
I think at this level that would be a very matchup specific play to make. So for example, EleGaNt did this last time. Perhaps this time as the Human player you think I can go for that corner expo first. And that's just huge actually, because the Elf is very, very far away from your expansion, first of all. Of course they get level 2 and 2 items, but you also get to clear a big camp, which is farther from your opponent's base, get level 2.2 or 2.3, and potentially a really good item as well at Clause 8 in the early game, which is just huge.
The downside of the corner expo is it's really hard to get level 3. Sure, there's 2 greens around, but that is absolutely not enough for level 3. So this is why, I think the main reason why most humans tend to not do this. It is the demon, by the way. No surprise here. Demon, Archmage, old school matchup.
To be honest, Autumn Leaves is a little bit tricky for Human in both positions if you want to go for the natural or the corner expo to get level 3 sometimes. Especially with the Demon Hunters right in your face and there's like a fight for an important last hit or something. If it doesn't go your way, you could be stuck on level 2 forever in this matchup as Human, which is just basically unplayable as the game goes further. But anyway, before we jump too far ahead of ourselves, let's see what route especially the Human will take. We already know what the Elf is of course planning here. Creeps are set up nicely to get the immolation on all 3 as well. Nicely done.
Yeah, the Human who has really shown excellence in this matchup lately is Sok, in my opinion. And what really there becomes very apparent when comparing to other humans is his usage of Footman, scouting movement, interception and all that. And also the way he uses Militia and when he's willing to back up with Militia and not brute force things. It's of course where a lot of experience comes into play. One Militia dies to the creeps. Oh my lord. Okay, that is not the perfect start, but at least the Demon has perfect items.
Yeah, not the best result overall there, but not too bad. Oh, potentially Dispel and that Elemental for more experience there, which would be costly for the Elf, but sometimes you want to just power up that hero as quickly as possible. Actually, EleGaNt doing a very poor job of immolating all the creeps. He didn't do it at the first camp, and at the second camp here took a little bit of time to adjust and make sure that immolation is hitting all targets, but oh my lord. This Demon Hunter is a force to be reckoned with, Remo. That is a scary prospect to go against a plus 10 damage DH in the early game.
Honestly, I feel like a ring would have even been better, because he's going to be running in, taking damage, and that bonus armor helps him out so much. Items for the aim are also very nice. Mantle and gloves, wonderful to have. There's a tower coming, but no expansion yet. Now the power build begins. The Demon might just be able to right-click this down, by the way. He's got a lot of damage.
Yeah. Claws are just so enabling. Yes, rings are nice as well, but claws allow you to make plays like this. This is just... It's actually really horrible as a Human player here because you don't have enough resources after cancellation here to start the expo again. You can see, yes, it cost the Elf like, what, 600 HP? That's a lot. But he this time EleGaNt did go for the 3 Moonmalls before the tech, so there should be plenty of Moonmalls available for him to use. And Starbuck here, you see how much resources are lost at the same time. He still can't start the Town Hall again. Even though it wasn't building for that long and the cancellation was obviously performed properly. Still lots of resources lost to the ether, I'm afraid.
Boots of the Demon. Oh man, this guy can be such a menace right now. Is there enough juice to heal him back up fully? Might be lacking a bit, but still looking healthy. Around 500 HP. Archer. Wait, something died at the Merc camp. Was that the Shadow Priest?
I honestly didn't see that. But something that is suspicious is that EleGaNt is pretty low on resources, and he did sell TP, which basically covers the cost of at least the boots of speed. I'm not too sure. Oh, this is tough.
He's just hounding this AM.
This is tough.
Archmage will have to TP. Oh, not having boots here. Very painful. Doesn't TP in time. Yikes.
I think you can. Because if you TP, all the workers come with you as well. Maybe you could move them out the way just in time. But actually, I mean, losing the TP would be just as bad because you have no way to heal yourself.
Yeah.
And you can't buy boots either because you're almost dead. So
yeah, you convinced me. I think letting him die actually better. The Arcane was draining a ton, and Demon is still not 3. Not quite yet, but we'll get it now.
Shredder. I'm a fan of that actually.
Dude, he's got like no units. 1 Archer, 1 Shredder, and 1 Giga Stack Demon Hunter.
That's all you need, baby. Let's see what item it's gonna be. Oh, Scourgebone Chimes. That's just insane for late game.
Hell yeah!
Holy crap. Yeah. If you thought it was bad before going against mass bears, I mean, just wait till you have bears that have 50% lifesteal to contend with. That is tough. And yeah, for Starbuck, there wasn't really anything he could do to prevent that Archmage death. The fact that the expansion got cancelled, he didn't have the resources to start the Town Hall again. That meant his gold came online later. That meant he couldn't buy boots of speed. And if he did choose to TP, he may as well leave because he would have both TP'd and lost the hero, probably.
You know what's such a classic EleGaNt play here, by the way? Rushing that lab creep, pretty cool, right? Demon Hunter leveling up, getting items. But it also means that you build only 1 single archer the whole game.
Yeah, I feel like maybe there's a possibility for you to die to just like some sort of weird all-in from the human. If they like get the expo up and then you just go like mass barracks, you just spam footman or something.
Yeah. It makes me think more and more
yeah,
that perhaps he lost both mercs. Maybe it was Berserker and Shadow Priest going down. Because it definitely was 1 merc. Maybe it was even both.
Yeah, I definitely need to rewatch that. I didn't see. Unfortunately, didn't catch that. Sorry, chums. Alright, Panda here. You can see how desperate he is to get these unit kills here. I think 1 breath should reach. Oh, it didn't actually reach the damage footman at the back.
Oh,
here comes the Demon Hunter though. Yeah.
Be me and Scotty.
Very good. But yeah. This Demon Hunter with boots, man, it's just... You can't... If you can't get to a shop yourself in the early game and resources are very tight as the human, this just feels really
He
oppressive.
needs a Naga. He needs a Naga this game. There's no way you have time for a Blood Mage.
No. Thing is, even the Naga is a good 50 seconds off from arriving at this point. And you have to hold for all that time. The good thing is with EleGaNt's build is that he doesn't have units. So he shouldn't be able to just end Starbuck here, but the Panda blocking for even more damage on the Archmage. The Archmage is trying to cut to the left, but the Panda keeps blocking him every time. And this is definitely a TP force. And he still can't buy a health potion. He has to run as far as possible to the right before TPing.
I could use the scroll and then TP. High level plays.
True, could do that.
No mana burn.
Oh. The way the Archmage just turned there, but the TP wasn't going off, I was like, oh man, he's just gonna get wiped out.
That would have been so sad. Turn rate death.
Exactly, literally like almost a turn rate death there.
Alright,
here we go.
The Naga. Very much needed to control this Demon Hunter. Shadow Song. Wait, isn't that what one of the Orcish clans is called?
Yes, that's correct.
Something Song.
Shadow
is it Shadow Song?
It is, yeah.
Why is the Demon Hunter called Shadow Song? That makes no sense.
Shadow Song just isn't canon, that's why. He's not a canonical DH.
We're doing a red shirt guy impression here with a lore critique.
We're doing a World of Warcraft retcon right now.
Yo, Starbuck's been getting kind of, battered and bruised, but he's got the expansion. His macroing up. He's securing the expansion. I'm liking his position more and more. Double racks, riflemen's, the gunners, and the panda's only level 1.
The next trial for the human, though, is how do you defend the bear attack here? This level 3 Demon Hunter is just such a beast. The level 1 panda is kind of irrelevant, but he's there doing damage. And then you have 3 bears. In the meantime, what do you have for base defense?
Demon
We have the
level 4.
lumber mill.
Oh my god.
Oh lord.
Okay, hold on. Maybe I don't like the position so much.
This is the trouble, is like, it
Maybe
takes so long
Sorks.
for your army to come online. We need
Sorks
breakers,
so
we need
bad.
Sorks.
Yeah, I think going breakers, I think it's a bit of a mistake. I think you should just try to, you know, mass Sorks here and then hold with militia.
The thing is though, without breakers you have no counter against rejuvenation. So it's awkward because you need both Sorks and breakers, ideally.
Yeah.
And there's no way you have time for that.
Now the shop's
Okay,
gone.
here come all the
Breakers
boys.
not available anymore. But militia will help. Starbuck needs to start attacking as well with his units. He's mostly just running away for now. Still afraid of the Demon Hunter for good reason.
Oh, that Naga. I think she's dead in the next hit here. Oh, Ankh
Slow.
passed.
Whee. Nice, get the Ankh. Ooh,
Nice
that's nice.
One bear in the meantime also pressuring these 2 riflemen. You see how much they're getting damaged right now. Naga dies off to the side with that bear as well. EleGaNt doing a good job microing units individually in multiple locations to get as much value as he can. But Naga comes back to full with everything basically. She's so squishy.
Bought a TP, not a healed scroll, trying to reassemble his forces.
Oh, there's no arcane vault.
Starbuck under a lot of pressure, but if he can hold here, he probably has the lead. If he can hold.
See, again, I feel like these sort of games is just so strong for the elf to make an expansion.
Yeah.
You're keeping the human busy this long.
I want to hear
Even
any
2
disagreement
bears
from
could
me.
just... Yeah. I mean, 2 bears could just take care of the expansion by themselves. And you could plant the expansion on the spot. You don't even have to build a proxy. You could do multiple things at once. Demon Hunter pressures, Panda creeps, 2 bears go and clear the expo for you. No problem.
Just Night of things.
I wasn't going to go that far, but yeah.
All while doing it with 100 APM. Nah, just kidding. Don't get upset. Don't get upset, Night Elves.
But yeah, no, the possibilities are definitely endless when you're in this sort of position. This is a prime.
Does he have
spot
0
for it.
Dryads? He's making
Yeah,
0
0.
Dryads. But abolish. I like the fake commitment.
I actually kind of like this, going for only
Oh,
bears, because
Zeppelin,
you need the Dryads.
Demon. In the main base. And again, we have the 2-pronged attack. This is something that EleGaNt was excelling at earlier already.
Yeah.
Hitting both bases. So hard for the human to defend. And I think this town hall is going to be going down. Or is it? Oh.
Panda getting burned a bit too much though from the Arcane Tower here. Doesn't actually have any more mana at his disposal. 1 Sorceress and 1 Elemental to deal with the Zeppelin at the same time. I think Starbuck did the absolute best thing he could.
That was a
here,
good defense.
actually.
Very good.
Really, really good. Even if EleGaNt had another Breath of Fire, I think he would have done that much. So overall, very well handled.
Let's throw the Zeppelin here. Can you
Yeah,
slow the
50 mana
Zeppelin?
just became available.
No.
Oh, another peasant kill just before leaving.
EleGaNt always managing to be very, very cost efficient. And yeah, it's really hard to counter this stuff perfectly. If you had a gyro, of course, easy peasy. But it's very hard to afford in a game like this.
Yeah, these sort of scrappy games when you're kind of in low upkeep all the time as well as the human player, so you're never really able to build up much of a bank, but your units get picked off constantly. So you sort of just hover at like that 55 to 60-ish food mark all the time. Can't build up a death ball. Can't bank. It's very awkward indeed. Oh, this Zeppelin. I definitely
I wonder if
this
Starbuck
play,
might be better served just playing 1 base in the following games. Like,
maybe.
you know, this multitask, hit all the different spots at the same time, find targets, find weaknesses. It seems to be EleGaNt's forte. In a 1 base game, this would be completely impossible.
And you see this entire time Starbuck forgot to put the peasants back to gold at the expansion. They haven't been mining now for like a minute and a bit. They're still not mining actually as well. So that's huge. So Starbuck was basically playing with almost 0 base economy for a minute or 2 there. Yeah, in the meantime, same approach.
This is really, really similar to the last Refuge game from earlier.
Yep. It's going even better this time. This is brutal. Starbuck can't even get above 60 supply this game. Can't get the hero levels. At least in the last game on LR he actually had levels and heal scrolls, but in this game he is Really struggling to get anything online, and the Demon Hunter could just keep going inside the base repeatedly.
Oh my god.
Panda creeps up. This is just such an amazing position to be in itself.
Yeah.
But really,
EleGaNt is doing
the
it
early game was
really
just,
well. I was memeing a bit on him earlier for his weird plays against Happy, and they were a bit weird, but here he's playing really excellent. Like, once he gets his tier 3 army together, he's playing it with it really, really, really well.
Yeah, though he could definitely be content with his human play, well, his human matchup currently. He is playing this exceptionally well, all the while staying on one base this entire time. I still think that's a flaw, but overall, his strategy is serving him well. He is able to make so many Moonwells with that Wellspring upgrades. Upgrades for the Bears, of course, just staying 50-50 the entire game, not needing to expand, but I feel like an Expo would just make the game a guaranteed win if you've got your opponent on the back foot this much.
Yeah. I mean, Starbuck hasn't left his side of the map for like 5 minutes.
Precisely, I was about to say. I think it might even be more than that by this point. It's really just crazy. He can't leave.
I'm about to compare the gold mines in the main base. Alright.
Oh,
Peasants jump back in. 4,600 versus 3,100. That's 1,500 gold lost. Just from missed mining time. Plus all the peasants that had to be remade.
Yeah,
now
no way for us to compare the expansion, of course, but there was a lot missing there as well.
Yeah. EleGaNt now jumping into upkeep. Still refusing to expand. At least he's getting Nature's Blessing this time. That is an improvement over LR.
Indeed. Ancient Wind, of course, as well. Also, I'm glad he doesn't neglect those little things, because they are just amazing. Granite Golem has to drop something good here. This has to be nothing short of Unholy Aura and June's Aura for Starbuck right now.
He needs the move speed. Oh, normally it's always the best item. Catguy's Pipe, but not if you have the Archmage yourself.
What a shame. What a shame! That's not gonna help proceedings, that's for sure.
Starbuck finally is allowed some peace to just macro up. He just got a TP and a 3rd heal scroll, but his front line is laughable. 3 breakers, 1 armor upgrade.
We need like 8 breakers, 2 armor upgrades, and Blizzard, I think. Yeah. The trouble is this time these bears, they're going to be what, 2-2? They're 2. Yeah, they just hit 2-2, and of course there's Bone Chimes available on that side, on the EleGaNt side this time. That's just going to make them so durable. Demon Hunter's also already level 5 ahead of proceedings as well.
This is the first time that Starbuck is going for a big attack this game. He's hitting the Night Elf main base. Well, the Demon Hunter's flanking. Already in an awkward position.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to TP out. Wants to have nothing to do with this. That's such a hard fight to take as the human dude. Once the bear army is so huge and the heroes are so strong.
Yeah. I think as Autumn leaves as well, it's pretty open, generally speaking. There's not really very many chokes to fight in, except basically to the northeast of the mercenary camp and below the laboratory. Those are probably the best bases to fight in. In this case, it's going to be an all-out brawl, I think, in Starbuck's base here. There's 3 fairy dragons in the air. If they all land a shot to the backline here, this could be all the casters disintegrating in one blow. In the meantime, we have a few gyros popping in, but they're not enough really to deal with the damage here. Oh, actually, 1 fairy dragon going a little bit too far forwards here. Should be taking it pretty easily. Starbuck doing his best actually to kite back into this choke. This is definitely better, but I think we just don't have quite the breaker numbers required.
The first breath was terrible. It did almost no damage. The breakers are struggling hard to establish a front line though, and we're still lacking the Blizzard. The DPS on the human side is minimal. Even a Shredder coming in for the Night Elf. And the bear damage is immense. 2-2 on all those bears. Not even roar yet. Oh, there it is. Mark of the Claw. Roar activated. Supply is even. Would love to see Militia called now, but there's not really many available.
Yeah, there would be 4 max between the 2 bases here if Starbuck were to collate his peasants for both bases. Level 5 Panda unlocked. Of course, we all know that level 3 Breath of Fire is just an absolute powerhouse ability. Oh, nice attempt there to pick off the last bear. Unfortunately, the Naga does not manage to get the kill. One heal scroll still available on Starbuck's side. He's done a really good job to preserve that for as long as possible. His army is still standing quite strong, but more reinforcements. 2 Dryads coming from the north as well.
Lightning!
Oh, focus onto the Demon Hunter, he goes down! Staff is on cooldown on the Panda. Nicely done by Starbuck here, seeing an opportunity here, but again, the retreat is just impossible against the Elf. Look how many Dryads are slowing your units here. It's just brutal.
That's yet more kills. The Panda claiming more experience, 5.5 all of a sudden. Demon Hunter not being revived from the altar. Just picking season. The Watch Elemental is absolutely useless. Not retraining to Blizzard here, perhaps the biggest mistake.
And again, with the lack of TP, you just can't do anything here on the retreat. You just get absolutely picked to pieces by the vultures that are those Dryads there. Look how fast the casters die as well. They just get focus fire down. 6 Pandas online available. Is available. You know what I mean. But he needs to go home to get some mana at some point here. But of course, I don't think EleGaNt wants to let Starbuck do anything except suffer.
Yeah, it's looking rough right now for Starbuck, but it's so hard to avoid getting manhandled by a bear army like this. Starbuck has to give it up. GG. And EleGaNt proves again that he seems to match up really well against Starbuck. The 2 base play, the hit and run, the 2-pronged attack. This is where EleGaNt looks the best. I think maybe 1 base play might serve him better.
Yeah, Starbuck there tapping out at the end after scouting EleGaNt's expansion, believe it or not, in the top left.
Oh, there was one?
There was one building.
Crazy.
It was like 40% done, so it still was nowhere near finished. But yeah, that would definitely be the seal on the coffin there, I'm afraid.
EleGaNt looks poised. He is finding a strong matchup here against Human, against Starbuck. He would be the 3rd Night Elf, making it 3 Night Elves out of 4 players so far. Of course, Group A had 4 Night Elves. Moon and Dice made it through there. EleGaNt now seems very, very close to punching his ticket into the top 8. And we have a lot more strong Night Elves. Ted Cup 18 might be dominated by the Elves if things continue. And we continue on Turtle Rock. And if there's one map that kind of forces you into 1 base play, it would be this one.
Yeah, absolutely. TR, it feels like there's almost no other options for Human here. Even despite the forced cross spawn. Nowadays, of course, the old days of yore, I'm sure you remember Remo, close spawn Human versus Elf. That was pretty funny, to say the least. The stuff the shenanigans that would take place there.
Yeah, that was also when the militia time was still lasting longer. That was some funny stuff. I remember games playing as Undead against Human where my Ziggurat was getting cancelled over and over, and I never got a single Ziggurat up the whole game. How much fun we had.
Yeah, it was really broken. It was super weird that it was actually in the game for so long. But alas, we won't be seeing any of that here. And Starbuck, I think it's an interesting position to be directly across from the opponent as opposed to diagonally. It sort of limits your ability to maybe sneak some camps in. Like this shop will be really hard for Starbuck to get a control of at any point. I think there is still a small opportunity to go for an expansion, potentially, if he's feeling really ballsy. I think typically Humans would get defend, and then they can creep the red spot pretty easily, actually. The trouble is, of course, the distance from the bases is quite far, the militia run out fairly quick, and these days the Demon Hunter is always on top of you with immolation while you're trying to creep that camp, and that could prove to be a total disaster early on. I'd like to see a 1-base rifle push. I think that's definitely his best shot.
Yeah, me too. Question is just how much has Starbuck practiced that? He normally seems to favor the 2-base play, favor the macro play. And I'm quite confused by this farm placement by Starbuck. We all know how strong farms are, but this is a bit weird.
Fix farms.
They're so cheap, they scout all over the place.
Just pop up everywhere and keep track of your opponent. Shout out to Todd, he's definitely a guy that makes very good use of those, that's for sure. Loves a scout farm. Alright. Starbuck here, of course, with the Archmage first getting the Gauntlets of Ogre Strength at the first camp. Not the best find for him. And in the meantime, the Demon Hunter here for EleGaNt getting the Ring of Superiority. An okay item. For me personally, Remo, a definite sell as the game goes on. I feel like the +1 to all is really weak. Especially when you know you need TP, Invo Potion, other good items, staff, you know, orb, whatever you need. But for the early game, it is decent. And I actually really like this approach from Starbuck. He's going to be attacking quickly. With an open base, though, does freak me out. It has to be.
Yeah, said. I've also been staring at it. Like, my cortisol has been rising because of stress.
Well, that definitely won't help proceedings, I'm afraid. At least for the meantime, the Demon Hunter does need to get his level 2 first and get boots and staff before any such plays. Actually going to just tank this whole camp with the Demon Hunter alone. Gonna get the item here. Yeah, Starbuck got Cloak from cross map, and I like his position now. He can just go into the elf base, cancel some Moonwells, attack the Wisps. This is a pretty classic one base style play where you want to get on your opponent's side, get level 2, and then pressure.
If the elf slips in the micro, we can maybe get some Wisps, if you're lucky even an Archer. But we ain't got no dust, so that seems perhaps unlikely. Demon Hunter is still running on back home from his adventures. A bit hurt, will have to heal. Bit of a Hunter's Fall cancel, but I mean, it's very early. It's not really a big delay. The other footmen. I feel like 2 footies were missing. They're a bit late to the party.
Yeah, we had a few footmen off to the side there that had to pick off a Wisp, so 1 Wisp has gone down. Oh. Of course, they do die pretty quickly when being targeted by the Archers on defense here. Also worthy to note is that EleGaNt did get an Elemental in the early game, so he would be level 1 still otherwise had he not got that last hit. And there's actually a second one potentially up for grabs. Footmen looping back around again, they just want to keep pressuring this elf base. The third Moonwell being targeted once again. Hunter's Hall will come up at the back. A couple Wisps to the side here, also nicely concealed, probably not going to find those in the meantime. And now 5 Archers on base defense here, that's quite a lot actually.
Especially when it's likely that they're going to be facing rifle push later on. Those Archers can help. I wonder if he's going to get Longbow. It's a tough call to make because the Ancient of War also wants to creep. Oh, Cloak versus Immolation. Turns out fire burns invis.
Saying that, I think the Demon Hunter would have to run through most of his mana pool to trigger a TP in this case. Oh, the Archers aggroing the camp here at the top right. Going to be taking a little bit of damage actually.
Oh, great Water Elemental Scout. Wow. That is, you know, not an easy read to make as you're getting chased by a demon.
Yeah, that's a pretty next level scout, has to be said. +4 sitting on the ground, but the creeps did pick off an Archer in the end, so EleGaNt not really managing that very well. In fairness.
I was looking for a Blood Mage, by the way. No Naga.
Very cool.
A player's forces are under attack.
Well,
is he going for the Siphon Endless Water Elemental push? Yoink!
I was thinking more level 2 to get Banish and Siphon, but yeah, we'll see how Starbuck approaches this. He is very far from level 3, so, you know, I feel like Elementals are going to have a limited window here, but the tier 3 has only just begun for Elf. Feels like within the next 3 minutes the human needs to be at the Elf base here. Shop going the way of the Demon Hunter as well, getting perked to Vitality. Pretty decent item for defending a rifle push. It's pretty good. Actually, the Demon Hunter is looking pretty tanky overall, so definitely nice. This Blood Mage, I really want to see if it's going to be Banish or Flame Strike. For me, Banish is one of my favorite abilities, and is really good against Demon Hunter players.
Yeah, I feel like on one base, Flame Strike is really bad, honestly, because, you know, army size is just not that big. Big mana potion could be nice.
Yep, big mana, definitely a nice find. We see the rifles here getting their +1. Long rifles is already available. The first sorceress is already here too, which is actually going to be pretty useful if it doesn't get picked off, because if there's any early scraps before the human is ready, that one Sorc is actually going to be huge to help defend against any pressure.
That demon has sick tank items, by the way. He is very durable. Slow plus Siphon is a wonderful combo. He's just tanking the Siphon. He don't care.
I think he's going to be forced into a TP even, potentially.
Yeah, he is.
Archmage just trying to stutter step and get in front. There's 2 shots. Oh. I think he would have just survived 1 more round of hits from both both heroes here from Starbuck, but no point to take such a risk. Time has been bought, but at the same time, you also need some hero levels as the elf to be able to defend this push, even if you get your tier 3 online easily. Starbuck here, he just needs 3-2 to win, so we'll see.
The Ancient of War was kept at home in anticipation of a push, not ready to creep the big camp now. He's trying to do it without the Ancient of War.
Yeah,
Starbuck's in a pretty good spot here.
Yeah, not having the Ancient of War in place here is kind of unforgivable, I would say. I'm not really sure what push EleGaNt was afraid of, if it was some sort of immediate tier 2 tower rush, because otherwise there's no reason to keep the Ancient so defensive. You can see his indecision.
If he can steal the item here, that would be huge.
Pretty small chance of that happening, I would say. There's Forked Lightning available, remember?
Oh, the banish!
Oh, banishing it!
Sick!
Oh, and if you drain all the mana away, then in theory your magic damage could just take care of the creeps anyway.
He's got double big mana and Scroll the Beast. This is the god of all pushes. Endless water elementals.
Banish is going to be so difficult for EleGaNt to deal with. He doesn't even have, well, first of all, no Dryads, but also only 1 Adept Bear on the field right now. He is miserably underprepared to defend this push. And actually, Scroll the Beast, Remo, I really like that on the human side.
Yeah, mostly I feel like it's a trash item most of the time, but here, when in 40 seconds you can make a huge difference, this is where the Scroll can be huge. There we go, Scroll versus Roar. Archer's benefiting from it as well. They do have improved goals, of course. Anti-magic popped. Right now we can't get siphoned, but the bear's getting siphoned. GNL bear close to falling as well. Demon gets level 3, taking out the Watch Elemental. But there should be plenty more of those.
Yeah, the level 3 Demon Hunter here with Rejuvenation running the entire time was pretty effective.
Where's the slow?
See, the Blood Mage needs to apply more banishes, I think. There we go, a few more banishes coming the way of the Demon Hunter, but yeah. I think the caster backline is lacking slightly for Starbuck, is the only trouble we have.
He's forgetting about the Sorcerer's Slow. She's full mana.
She's full mana. I think she was
finally
off autocast. Oh, Archmage taking a little bit of a beating actually. That Demon Hunter is deadly when he comes out of that banish form. But the Blood Mage, he has so much mana to work with. I think the Naga or Potion being pops.
Yeah, great banish.
Blocked a lot here actually.
And it's valuable seconds while the priests are healing. Now the AM again pretty healthy, but still needs to be careful. Demon Hunter's so hard to bring down.
Oh no, Archmage.
Oh. The Naga goes down in the meantime. Level 3. Whew, GG. We go to map 3, boys. I'm very glad that we do. Seems like this series deserves a 3rd map. And I wonder if Starbuck here has, you know, smelled some inspiration. Maybe 1 base is the way to do it.
Yeah, that was great. Honestly, a solid game, start to finish, by Starbuck. You see the game plan is a little bit more streamlined when you play 1 base. You're just trying to get level 2, pressure the elf in the early game. If you can cancel lures again on tier 2, that's huge. If not, I mean, that's okay. And yeah, just a solidly executed push. I think Turtle Rock is a great map for this though, of course, because of the potential to get the big consumables. You saw that Starbuck actually ran through both big manas and was still out of mana against the Demon Hunter in the end. I'm not quite sure how that happened, given that there was also Siphon available as well, but in any case, he really needed all those drops.
Yeah, made it work well. Again, I feel like his AM positioning could be a bit better. He's always taken a few more shots from the Demon than necessary, and also that Sorceress not casting slow almost came to bite him in the butt. But it was indeed enough. Map 3 in our series. The last one of the day. I just muted the game. There we go. Now the music's turned on. Who will prevail?
Shades of previous games perhaps going to be in this match. We have LR once again between EleGaNt and Starbuck here. I feel like despite the 1 base success last game that Starbuck will still opt to go for the expansion, to be honest, even though that worked out so kind of poorly for him across the series. He is quite a macro orientated player, of course. He is flexible and can do most different styles, but he does tend to favor those expansions. But look at the farm positioning here, actually. The second farm, it looks like we're going back to like the old base building that people tried to do against the initial Demon Hunter staff plays.
Yeah, Starbuck was one of the first to do that and it looked pretty cool. Okay.
It's definitely quite easy to block your peasants in, actually. If you build another building to the right, that whole area is safe for those peasants. You can still gather lumber, crucially, in the meantime as well, so you don't delay getting that online. Of course, you still lose gold, but you have the tower as well to drain the Demon Hunter. You can come back and defend or pressure the elf base. I think this adaptation is definitely needed.
I'm feeling the tension. This is the 6th map between the two QB. Who's gonna bring it home? Who's gonna have the rights to glory? Starbuck would be the first random/human player. We have 2 elves and 1 undead already in our top 8. The second group stage will begin... Okay, now I have to look at my calendar. Saturday. Tomorrow on Thursday we got Group C and then Group D on Friday. I hope you guys are all tuning in, but you must tune in on the weekend. Second group stage always super epic in the TED Cup. And I would say the Demon Hunter here, starting off with the worst drop. Gloves of Haste is alright, but I like those other 2 way more.
Yeah, I'd say these days it's probably the worst drop. Of course, Ring used to be the worst, but now definitely the gloves feels a little bit bad. And EleGaNt here taking a different approach, this time not going for the item and running across and stealing the High Priest, but rather doing his own level 2 right before going. I think that can prove to be quite okay. Starbuck here, nicely done, doesn't get the second elemental web, so should be able to clear up this camp without too much damage. It is easy to mess this up, surprisingly, with the 2 bloodlusted trappers especially. They just don't listen to anybody, they just do their own thing. So, oh man, a Wisp would have been huge though, would it not? Would have been such a good opportunity to get a double Detto.
Oh, we have Mana Burn the first time against Archmage, right?
Yep, I also think this was lacking before.
Illusions? Oh, you must not attack the creeps. Oh! The militia attacked the creeps! Uh-oh.
Yep, it took damage. I think we're okay as long as the illusion doesn't go back again.
Honestly, I'm not sure if I like Mana Burn more. Honestly, well, actually, I do have an opinion. I think I prefer no Mana Burn, to be honest. Against AM. Only against AM.
That's funny. I wasn't expecting you to kind of double back on that because you were more surprised that that EleGaNt never chose Mana Burn, but now you're like, not sure if I like it. I think Mana Burn is a good pick if you harass before the human starts the expo. So you take the item and go across and start Mana Burning, I think is really annoying.
This is a sensational start for Starbuck. Sorry to cut you off, but this Demon Hunter harass has done nothing.
Yeah. I think this time the Mana Burn was really weak as an option. It's too late, because if the human has already crept the expo, that was your time to Mana Burn the Archmage beforehand, so that they don't have the elementals to creep it. You have the immolation on top to try and pressure the peasants instead. In this case, going for only Mana Burns and no immolation. I mean, look at this game by comparison. We have so much coming online way quicker. The expo basically came out completely undeterred. And yeah, Starbuck just gonna have a smooth early game here, I think, but didn't actually go for the base block off I was expecting. The base is still open in the bottom corner as well.
Oh, Starbuck splitting off his footies right away. He knows the archers might be hitting the expansion. Demon Hunter causing definitely some trouble in the main, but I want to hear some support from all the Bucky fans in the chat, because this is a good position for the Slovenian random player. Is he a random player? Is he a human player? Who knows? But this is one of the best spots he's been in so far. And EleGaNt making adjustments. Aggressive shop in the middle of the map. He wants to crank up the pressure with tier 2 with perhaps a Naga this time.
I was going to say, this feels like a Naga play. When you get the early Ancient of Wonders and Archers, I feel like Naga is super strong. But of course Panda is that security late game, which I feel like EleGaNt, his game plan is about getting to late game, if possible every time, by staying on one base and laming. And of course the Panda is way stronger for that, both for the late game scaling and for the ability to base lane.
I feel like Starbuck's scouting here is sensational. Earlier with the Footman, he knew when to go for the expansion, perfect creep route there. Now he saw the Night of Attack coming, could react. Footy's at home already, with the AM joining. Arcane Tower upgrading, but still pretty far from done. But militia support right now is really strong against these archers. And the Night of Heroes, still very low level. We saw how incredibly dangerous they are with high levels. But right now we're still far away from that.
Now, one thing that definitely impressed me about EleGaNt's play with the Panda second is that despite spending a lot of time not creeping, he always seemed to find the levels he needed by the time the big engagements rolled around. Which I think is very tough to actually balance, being very, very over-aggressive with your second hero, like a hero that needs to be scaled like the Panda.
True.
He manages that very, very well.
Player's forces are under attack.
Alright. Pressure will continue with the Panda, interestingly. I thought if I were taking over the Elf's position, I feel like I would want to go home and creep. That would be my feeling. Not saying that's correct, but it's just my emotion in that moment. I'd be like, oh no, I've done enough, I need to go home now to creep.
Arcane Tower now up. That's a big help. Panda drained right away. The wall off kind of being opened up as well. There have been some peasant losses, but honestly, it's not been that many going down. Starbuck has been able to keep his workforce alive pretty well. And the lumber is looking okay still.
It sounds odd, but I actually like that Starbuck didn't pop the regen scroll on the hurt footman because he knows that he's going to need that scroll of regen afterwards anyway to heal up all the footmen that were damaged. And that they would just return to the fight half damaged anyway because they don't have enough time to heal. Okay, deciding to pop it now, getting very good value, of course. And yeah, this base build is just working out great. The peasants are able to keep mining lumber the whole time, as I said before. And now, Starbuck, he has enough lumber to do everything he wants. It's great.
There's a bit supply block right now. Oh no, a farm just finished in time for a second hero. I wonder who it's going to be. It's the Blood Mage.
Like
no Alchemist anymore. Yeah, I like this way more. I think Alchemist is kind of not so good. And Starbuck is holding his own here. Very impressive play so far by the European.
I've not looked at EleGaNt's base for a little bit too long, and this time we're seeing a completely different approach. And I feel like it's an approach that will probably have a higher chance for Starbuck to win. We have Mass Dryad tier 2, and there's a counter expansion coming up. EleGaNt completely flipping the script here, Remo.
Interesting. He's completely changing his game plan or playstyle, which was so successful earlier. But also what has to be said is this time his early game was a lot weaker. Starbuck had a bulletproof defense. And that Sanctum also not coming up. Does he have a TP? Oh, he does. For a second there, I was wondering if he was stuck there. There is a TP. We'll be able to get out.
I think EleGaNt is in a really, really bad spot, to be honest. I'm a little bit confused, honestly, by his play so far. The Panda not going back to creep at any point, I feel has been kind of a bit to his detriment. We don't have... Wait, there is a tier 3 coming, but it's so late. I don't know, this feels like a very middle of the road, like I want to maybe do this, maybe do that. I'm not sure this approach of going late tier 3 is going to work now.
I think mainly Starbuck just didn't allow all that damage to throw him behind and for the heroes to, you know, spiral out of control. The Demon is still not level 3, the Panda never got level 2 from getting too many kills. Starbuck, I think, really stepping it up here on the last map where it matters most. He's got a nice base build at the expansion. Again, no way to get in for the Demon unless he wants to staff into a suicide. And remember how much time he was able to buy with his Demon Hunter before, over and over, forcing the human back, buying time for across the map, creeping and whatever. And this time, Starbuck is on top of things.
A player's forces are under attack.
For now, I will add. I do definitely think that Starbuck is in a great position this game. The Blood Mage, of course, is the superior choice if he is able to get levels. EleGaNt doesn't have the counter expansion rooted. No, nature's blessing. I mean, look how ridiculously slow that tree is. It's just going to take forever. And Starbuck, in the meantime, getting extra camps from the middle here, which is really nice. But I do fear that there is a chance for EleGaNt to still engage the lane game, engage the lane thrusters, and pull it back a little bit here.
Yeah, once he's got the strong hero levels. Oh, the Flame Strike! Absolutely not splitting against the Flame Strike. One archer goes down. Heal Scroll forced as well. It's also a big deal. TP out. Starbuck in true human fashion. Stuck.
Oh man, this sucks.
Is it worth buying a new TP?
I don't even know what you do here, honestly. I think Zeppelin, probably.
Zeppelin, yeah. Still with a...
There we go, Breaker buys a Zeppelin.
Yeah, the Breaker. Alright, you know what? Did we take this time to contemplate, meditate, and come back stronger?
That sounds like something Starbuck would say to himself. He is quite a spiritual guy, you know.
Yep. He was there at the last Rara land. And he's trying to qualify again. Gonna be interesting to see, to follow his journey.
Alright. Seems like the pieces are falling into place a little bit for EleGaNt here. He does have that level 3 Panda continuing to creep up. The Expo is finally rooted, but still not mining yet, of course. Huge difference in the gold mines right now. 4,000. Soon to be 4.5k probably. Starbuck has a substantial supply lead for the first time in one of these games. He's actually able to get up to 70 food, while the elf is struggling to get above that mark himself, not able to build up a big bank. I do feel like though with this approach by EleGaNt, he could go super ham on laming the bases, having the double economy behind that and getting a huge army afterwards may prove to be effective, but I think Starbuck's just going to go for a decisive push in a second.
I wonder if EleGaNt should maybe go for Zeppelin. Go for Zeppelin, drop a base, buy time. Because there's not much time left before Starbuck hits.
Yeah, even selling the rune bracers here, buying the teleport, I think, yeah, Starbuck is just going to beeline it to that expansion. EleGaNt is not in position to do anything about this army. He isn't in position to lame one of the bases. This is precisely the position you want to be in this human, keeping the elf on their side here while you push.
Only one heal scroll is a bit scary, but going over to his own shop, Starbuck can maybe get more. Has the gold almost for double heal scroll, if it's available. AM, despite being on a horse, looks a bit slow to trot. There we go, heal scroll. This is it. Starbuck with a good chance to win this game right here.
This is so annoying because you see EleGaNt splitting off his units, trying to pick off yours. You just have to accept that he's going to get pickoffs and go to the expansion right now. The more you delay, this is all EleGaNt wants, is for you to turn around and maybe try to save one of your stragglers. You should just let it die, go push, and try and end this fool, as it were. What do we got? Level 2 Siphon as well this time on level 3. I am a big fan of that against Panda. The mana drain is just huge, even though it's been nerfed to 25 instead of 30. It's still really, really good.
Could again be an effective flank by EleGaNt. The breakers right now looking towards the Tree of Life. And time is of the essence. Flamestrike, of course, also great against repairing wisps. Oh, look at the glory! Does it one-shot them? Oh, it sure does!
It does. Beautiful. Now, of course, Starbuck is in the open field here, but EleGaNt, what kind of army does he have? 5 bears isn't really enough this time. The breakers outnumber the bears for once in their lives. I've scrolled the beast in the background.
Beautiful Flamestrike.
Background. Oh man, that
I love
damage is
Flamestrike.
huge.
It is such a satisfying spell, dude.
Everything the Blood Mage does is satisfying.
Yeah.
To be honest, when you think about it.
One of the coolest heroes in the game, to be honest. And the coolness factor will lead Starbuck here to victory. This game, I feel like the first game today by him that was really, really well executed and really well played. I'm glad that he was able to show his best on the last map of the day. And yeah, this is just simply now too much. The Death Ball has finally been assembled.
Took its time. Took 6 maps to actually get above a 70 supply army here for Starbuck, but he managed to do it this time. I do think EleGaNt had a really questionable early game though. I really didn't like this delayed pressure into no immolation harass mana burn. It felt terrible. It didn't really allow him to get ahead like in the previous match as well. Trying his best in vain now to pick off some stragglers who do die very easily to the Demon Hunter plus Dryad combination. Starbuck here, he's setting up a new base camp outside of EleGaNt's base, who's 50 foot right now.
There was a funny game recently where Sok was towering up outside an Orc's base, and there was 7 towers when the Orc came in to TP his expansion. Fighting in the middle of a tower defense game. Looks a bit reminiscent of that. The heroes trying their best right now, but I think even double level 5s would not cut it anymore at this state for EleGaNt. Starbuck had to fight hard today. Tooth and nail. He was tested and almost failed, but in the end it looks like Slovenian will prevail here. Bit by bit, taking out what's left. Oh, he's actually TPing out to play it safe since the AM was heard. Alright. Tower's cancelled.
Yeah, actually that attack wasn't as successful as you would think it would be for Starbuck. He had a big advantage going into this fight, and I think perhaps leaving the security of the towers potentially that would be upgrading and just going into the open in the elf base there might have been a little bit of his undoing there in that push. Actually, Starbuck ended up surprisingly, I mean, he's still in a good position, he should still win this game, but EleGaNt really has evened out a lot more. He can get to 50 foot easily. Starbuck only at 66 at the moment, did lose reinforcements as well, of course, before as well. He's not completely out of the woods yet, as Human has to always invest into 2 heal scrolls per fight, and while being in low upkeep as well.
Blood Mage though got level 4. That's a great level to have. With Blood Mage, you really want to have level 2 on every one of your spells, so level 4 is where you start to hit that sweet, sweet spot, similar to the MK.
I think Starbuck knows he's not quite ready to go yet. We don't have a second heal scroll online, had to rebuy the TP of course. EleGaNt, of course, he can't really do very much. Would like to go out and creep something. But with Mortars online, your base is going to get destroyed pretty quickly. Perhaps you can sneak a red camp in, but I'm not so sure. This lab should be available though. Yep, there we go. Don't think it's quite enough for level 5, but it will definitely be very close for the Panda. Speaking of setting up towers outside an orb base, I played a ladder game against Woodywood where I think I had 2 cannon towers attacking his Great Hall. Amongst all my buildings, a workshop, an Arcane Sanctum, Arcane Vault, all being built outside his base. That's super funny.
Cannon towers, Giga Chad.
Oh, they're so beautiful. They're my favorite terror. Alright, level 5 Panda unlocked and Mana Stone. That's actually huge, to be honest. But the push is coming in right now. EleGaNt is only just breaking supply now, needs to buy even more time with this Demon Hunter, which he has been doing a really good job of. Starbuck this time though, 3 heal scrolls, which I think he actually needs as a very minimum.
Does he have Dispel against the anti-magic?
Oh,
there is Adept training. Or I could just wait out the anti-magic.
Oh, the Moonmows are dry though. EleGaNt also forgot Wellspring this game, so a lot of mana missing on these.
Oh, I like the Zeppelin.
Wells.
Honestly, it's been the heroes getting targeted. That was the biggest problem for Starbuck in that last engagement, I would say. Could be a nice flank here from EleGaNt, hitting from different sides. But of course the army size still greatly in favor of the human.
Second anti-magic being popped right now. Breaker gets picked off to the side here. Yeah, EleGaNt really doing the best he can in the situation actually. I love the mortar positioning on the high ground right now, that is just sick.
Yeah, very cool.
Zeppelin's there to save them too, potentially. There we go. Oh, focus fire immediately going into the Zeppelin though. Oh, nicely done. Manages to drop the mortars back down. The Panda! The Panda! Not paying attention to the Panda at all, losing complete oversight of this game. All the bears, Remo, all the bears are getting destroyed.
It's a dream for Blood Mage. The Flame Strikes have been looking wonderful. He's getting level 5 towards the end. And the GG is called. Starbuck sweating bullets today. Had to try hard, play hard, and does prevail. What a satisfying day for the European. We will see Starbuck advancing in 2nd place, leaving EleGaNt in the dust. Starbuck will be back on Saturday or Sunday. And with that, we conclude our Group B.